Hi, Keith. I would just like to say how absolutely amazed and excited and happy I am with what you have turned in for your long comp. It is so impressive how far you've come. I am just floored. I would like to make a couple edits because we can always make our writing better. The things that are in red are edits that I have made to make your writing a little more sophisticated or specific. So, in the first paragraph, right here, you say, often in works of literature, the villains have the greatest impact on the novel. In Night by Elie Wiesel, the Nazis have the greatest impact because they were often talked about in the novel. The Nazis were people that did not like the Jewish people because they thought that the Jewish religion was against the Nazi party. The Nazis were sent to Szeged in Poland to round up all people of the Jewish race and transported them to ghettos before moving them to concentration camps. In your first paragraph, you just want to make sure that you remember to include the transition word. So first, the Nazis were an antagonist party, loved the use of antagonist, that disrespected the Jewish religion. We'll get rid of like. They did not like the Jewish people. What I added in here in red, and I'll underline it right here in blue, is they did not like the Jewish people. You mentioned this in your introduction. They did not like the Jewish people, and so we're going to make that reason number 1, and it appropriately goes into your first paragraph. The Nazis were sent to take the Jewish people from all over Hungary and put them in ghettos. The ghettos were like jails or prisons, but ghettos had stricter laws. They had to make sure that everyone was accounted for, and people were not allowed to be out of the ghettos. Were allowed to be out of the ghettos until a certain time they had to be back. The Nazis did not tell the Jewish where they were going until they left the Jewish hometowns. Second, so there again, you want to be careful and make sure you include your transition word. The Nazis rounded up the people of the Jewish religion, telling them to get on cattle cars to get to their next destination, the concentration camps. I added this in because I think that you want to make sure that that ties up with your reason up here. This is reason number 2, to round up all people of the Jewish race. Okay? So, again, you want to just make sure that's repeated. The Jewish were not told they were going to the concentration camp before there. So you do a great job here talking about what the Jewish people were sent off to do after they were rounded up. Again, the Nazis were in charge of that, so you did a really nice job painting that picture. Lastly, when the Nazis moved the Jews to the concentration camps, the Jewish did not expect this horrible sight. Again, remember your transition word, lastly. And I want to underline this. When the Nazis moved the Jews to the concentration camps, the Jewish did not expect this horrible sight. I added that in because I wanted to match your reasoning up here, moving them to concentration camps. And I'm underlining that in green, okay? So that's your third reason, and it matches here. Make sure that the things or the reasons that you state in your body paragraphs match what you state in the intro, okay? Because that's really good for helping to be clear with the things that you're trying to say. But all in all, you do a really, really nice job. I especially love this piece right here. I'm just highlighting it on the left-hand side. You did a fantastic job using sensory details and really just vivid language. And I'm so impressed with that. You did a phenomenal job. And you have a great memory, and you really just nailed it. I'm very proud of you, Keith. One thing I would like to add is your last paragraph. I added in conclusion, because again, that's your transition word. And then I added this piece. The actions of the Nazis affected the work as a whole because millions of Jewish people were tortured and murdered during the Holocaust. And this is seen throughout the novel. You're going to be asked to mention how the actions or how whatever you're answering in the prompt affected the work as a whole. So make sure that you don't forget to include that, okay? Say in your essay, how does what I'm writing about affect the work as a whole? Or how does what I'm writing about affects the whole book? And also, you did a really nice job closing it up of what eventually happened to them, but we want to make sure that everyone knows that the Nazis were eventually stopped. So I added this at the end. Eventually, however, justice prevailed and the Nazis were stopped. So what I would like to show you at some point, Keith, are the essays that you turned into me back in August, and also some of the essays that you had last year, because what you're showing me now has blown my mind at how excellent you've done and how far you've come in the past 2 years that I've known you. You've worked hard, you've prevailed, and what you're coming up with as a finished product is truly impressive. So I really want you to feel proud of yourself because you deserve to feel good about yourself for all the wonderful work you've done. You're going to be great tomorrow. I 100% know it. Just do exactly what you've been doing, and you'll be wonderful. So get a good night's sleep tonight. I hope baseball tryouts went well. And I will see you bright and early in the morning. Okay? Have a good night, Keith. Take care. Bye.